Hello, hello. Hey guys.
Howdy.
Hey there.
How's everybody doing?
Yeah, good.
Doing good, doing good. How about you?
Good, good. Trying to stay on top of all this crazy news and all that.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys been following any of that at all?
Yeah, we'll try to, but
Yeah, it's a
Trying
bit
to.
here, there, and everywhere.
All right. Hey Tim.
how we doing?
Yeah, it's
Hey there,
been
Tim.
been pretty wild. I was posting about it. I posted about it last Friday, and then it kind of went viral over the weekend, and ever since then I've been trying to keep up with it as much as possible. Hey Rick. I'll send the link in the chat for everybody so you guys can check it out. But I essentially did a full blog post that is diagnosing the entire timeline from a couple weeks ago all the way through the exact minute by minute timeline of all the different tweets and all the different craziness of everything that went and happened. And it's like really up to date. I just updated it a couple minutes ago. So I'm going to be doing like a huge video on this. I got to save that actually. But so if you're interested, that's a good resource to check out. I'll put that in the chat. Rick, I can't hear you.
I think Adam D'Angelo is going to go to jail.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just
I
posted
mean,
about one of those. Yep.
how can you say something? Microsoft lost billions, dude. There's going to be some repercussions.
They're fine now. They kicked did how their stock do today. I haven't checked today.
Rocketed. Or of course, that was yesterday that I was looking at that. But
What's it at today? Because I know yesterday it hit all-time highs. Oh, it's
well,
back down.
the bigger problem for Adam and the board is they can't produce any documented anything to back up their findings or their claims that he lied to them and was doing something crazy. So
Yeah, the best kind of explanation I've seen of this as of late has been if there was something, they should stick to their guns. But because there's not, and the main reason why it's not is because Ilya changed sides. Like if he's the one that knows everything and he changed sides, like that means that it's not any of the bad stuff. But I love this is probably my favorite quote so far. Late last night, new interim CEO is involved in mediating these negotiations blah blah blah, where one, the interim CEO who replaced the interim CEO who replaced Sam, who got replaced for Sam trying to bring Sam back, is now deeply involved in a new effort to get Sam back. Like, read it through a few times. It's fine. It doesn't make sense to anyone else either. Like,
that's really well written.
I
That's
love
good.
that. Yeah. So that being said, Tim and I were basically on top of this the entire time, the entire weekend. What's good is it seems like the high level employees are people that actually control the API or some sort of the platform. They have, including the CEO, have reassured us that their customers, i.e., all of us, are their first priority to make sure that their platform is stable and online. That being said, we pretty much immediately started looking into Azure and getting our endpoints moved over to Azure to ensure that basically everything's backed by Microsoft, not a company that could just go poof random any minute.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Yeah. Nobody. I mean, literally nobody. So the way that we're kind of approaching this is, I mean, we're tracking it extremely closely, obviously, and then we're going to figure out kind of the implementation process of what Azure is going to look like, in addition to looking at Claude, Perplexity, Poe, Llama, some of these other models that people are basically all just started jumping ship to. We're going to start looking into them and seeing where they work within our platform and how difficult or easy it would be to implement. And then we'll start to go from there. So for now, it seems like we're okay. We're good. We're stable. I mean, during this whole process, we just pushed a huge new release, a huge new update GPT-4 Turbo is out, and that's one of the main things we'll be going over. But yeah, we're plugging along. This hasn't derailed us at all. And in any case, it's actually sped us up. I think. If anything I've learned over the weekend is all these billionaires, all these smart people, quote unquote, they're all clowns. Nobody knows what they're doing. Like it's wild. So to me, it gives me so much more like I'm so much more bullish on kind of everything that we're doing because we can execute extremely well and quickly, and we're aligned. We don't
Yeah,
have a
very
random
aligned.
board. So yeah, that being said, I'm going to show the updates for this week. Oh, am I sharing the right one?
I think so, right?
Can you see this one?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Last time I shared, I was sharing my Zoom. Remember?
Your Slack, I think, actually.
Slack. Yeah. All right. So 1.15 is out. The main things are turbo support. So now GPT-4 Turbo is out. It's the same functionality. It's actually a little bit faster than GPT-4, but it's only 10 credits per response. So less than half of what GPT-4 is. GPT-4 is still 25. So essentially that doubles the margin on all your credits that you were reselling, essentially. So our recommendation is move over to GPT-4 Turbo because it'll be cheaper and it's all the same functionality. And finally, we finally got conversation starters out. So what this looks like is essentially it's a conversation, it's a question that allows the user to click one of the questions. So there's nothing in there right now. What I could go in here and I could add, hey, how are you? And each of these is a new line. So if I want to do, hey, what's up? I could go like that. Click update. And now you have these buttons that will trigger the first message.
Just like OpenAI, right?
Just like OpenAI. Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the main things that we're trying to take into account. Like the way, I mean, grain of salt through this weekend, but the way that OpenAI is teaching the entire market about the processes and how to interact with AI chatbots and the different terminologies used for different parts of how they're built. So for example, like we use the term base system prompt. OpenAI uses custom instructions. So, and I don't know if we added it yet, but what we're going to start to do is in here, we're going to put a little parentheses that says custom instructions. So that way we're not trying to create new terminology or new anything. It's just we're using what quote unquote the market is using as that term for that specific thing. And so for conversation starter, we figured, and that's what OpenAI is using. We initially were calling this, was it pre-positioned questions?
Yes.
Which is ridiculous, but conversation starters is much better for that. All right, so that's conversation starters. Now we have teaser questions. So this is one of the things that people wanted, in the sense that you could have the chatbot pop up a little notification in the right-hand side of. Tim, do you have your example actually of that one?
The teaser questions?
Yeah. Do you have that screenshot?
Oh, I thought you had that screenshot. I don't have it ready to go, actually.
That's fine. I'll just do it. So there's two sections in here called initial messages. And when that is set, that will pop up in the little widget. So if you have the little widget in the corner right here, the message will pop up above it. I probably should have put this embedded in a whole site, but is there a picture in here? I think it's in your video.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the picture from the release notes. Let's see, just a second. There's the
Yeah, there we
picture.
go. So it'll look something like that. So the messages will be above the chat widget, and then the user can then click those, and then that opens up the chat widget. And you can set that to be a delay. And so that's what this section is. And if you set it to negative, it means that they won't show. So you can set it to a couple different seconds. And then after a few seconds after the page loads, then those little questions will pop up to get the user's attention for them to interact with the bot on the website. Does that kind of make sense, everybody? Yeah, cool. All right. So
Can we ask a series of questions there, Russ? So, or make a few different statements. It can be more than one. It looked like you had that in the graphic there.
yeah. And it's the same thing with the converse. So you can just add a new one on a new line. And then that will be another message that pops up above there.
So yeah, you could have 5, 10, as many as you wanted, really.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of other quick updates. So obviously in the top here, this is a question that we get a lot. All of you guys on this call are most likely fine for that, but for everybody else watching this YouTube recording, this now will be telling people that you can actually log into your custom white labeled version of the platform, and that will show you your logo, your name, all the white labeled links, like everything's white labeled when you log into your white labeled version. We have a lot of people that still are like, oh, why is it not showing my logo? I changed my logo. It's like you're not logged into your white label version. So that's that update. All right. So next up, we got a few different things. There's also a couple of smaller things, like the webhook for scheduling is now out as well. So you can send lead data and webhook for scheduling. That's out. And then we're also going to be pushing an update to allow you to send lead data and scheduling information all in one send, in one go. And that should help simplify some of our funnels. The two big things that we're working on is alternative meeting types. So this will really help for people who are looking to do, or clients that want to do group meetings or like a class, or for example, like for us, if we want to do like a webinar, this will allow us to make it so that way we can create an event that the chatbot will still book the user to, but multiple users can be booked to one meeting. So a little bit of a different use case, but it's going to look visually a lot different because the functionality of that side of the platform will require essentially an event builder. So think like a Calendly type situation.
Sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's a little complex. So we're like, just like everything else, we're gonna probably build it in a building block stage where we get the initial features out and then try to optimize from there. But we have a few clients and a few agencies and customers who are in this use case or like have this. So we want to make sure that we're able to support that. White label documentation. This is going to be a big one. So this is going to be essentially step-by-step tutorials for your clients that's white labeled to your brand. So it's an extension of the API documentation and how all of this is white labeled to your brand. So if I go into I'm not logged in. See, I need to take my own advice. Log into my white label. So everything is white labeled in the API documentation. We're also going to be adding a documentation in the in the left-hand column here, and it will be shown to agencies and your customers. And the information that your customers will see will be like, here's how you make a chatbot. Here's how you optimize a system prompt, like all the general base core information of like how to use the platform. Where's my account? How do I update my profile? Like all that type of stuff. It'll all be in there, and it'll all be white labeled to your brand. So that should help with a lot of initial, like easy support stuff to cut down on like easy support tickets.
Hey Ross, I'm pretty hit and miss on these meetings, but are you saying we could white label to other people?
No, this would be just the documentation.
I got you.
Yeah. So your clients, so like some people have gone out and taken our documentation and then recreated it.
I got you.
This replaces that essentially. And then finally, the marketplace. So this is probably the most exciting feature that is next up from this grouping of items. But the main function that we are wanting to get this out for is being able to share and clone bots into accounts. So when a user or a client is interested, like, hey, I need a bot that is for roofers and does, or, massage therapists or whatever, like we can just go in and build one, add it to the marketplace, and then other users or agencies can go in and clone it and then start using it in their account. We will then start expanding everything from there. You guys as agencies will be allowed to upload templates or bots that your clients can then go and clone into their accounts. So the idea is like, instead of having to do this manual process of creating a bot, copying and pasting in a prompt template, maybe trying to optimize it a little bit, all of that can be done and then added as a template into the marketplace for other agencies or other users to then clone into their account. To start, we're probably going to do something just very simple and easy to where it's just you just clone, it just gets cloned. We're leading towards a system where you can monetize this yourself. So as, again, building blocks, we'll get it out just for cloning. Then we'll add the ability to where when somebody downloads it, you get a reward of credits for when somebody downloads it. And then eventually after that, you'll be able to add it as a product because we're already connected to your Stripe. So we could create a Stripe product on your behalf for that clonable bot. That's like a one-time, $50 or something, and then $7, I don't know, whatever you want to charge for it. And then somebody could go in and purchase that and then add that into their account. And that could either be an agency or a client of your business or your agency. Yeah. And then, so next up, we're working on comments. So this will be really cool where you can essentially, and this is one of the things for the marketplace. So like in the marketplace, when you download a bot and you add it into your account, the base system prompt will be in there. Well, how do you explain the base system prompt? This is how we're going to start doing that. You can add in comments. So if you do / / and then type out a sentence, as long as the line starts with / anything after it will be removed prior to it being sent to OpenAI. So the comments are just for us to understand what the text in the base system prompt is and how it works. And this will allow us and you guys to also make base system prompts that explain stuff for users, or if you come up with an interesting use case, you can write it out for yourself so you remember what's going on in the different parts. So yeah. Moving along, baby. So yeah, the last thing I'll mention is I might have showed this last week. I used this multiple times during the week to help illustrate how this could be used for a business. So this is the lead generation use case. And I basically will bring up this page, and this is something that you guys could probably replicate or recreate on your own. and going and using one of your clients or your examples to showcase this, but it's just showcasing what an example of a conversation will look like for your customer or your user. So like, this whole page is targeted to what my customer's customer is, which is the agency's customer. So when I'm making this, I'm not trying to target you guys as a customer. I'm trying to help you sell it better to your customer. And by doing that, it helps the customer understand the sell and the offer easier and better. So that way it makes them more likely to purchase it from you. This showcases that in a very simple and easy way where you can ask questions, extract the data, generate a quote, book them on a meeting is generated, and then sending all this information to a CRM. This flow has helped people kind of visualize this funnel or this process in their head, which then allows them to correlate it to something that they already have established. So typically it'll be like, oh, I'm already running Facebook lead gen ads, but I have humans that are following up with those leads, and it takes them like an hour to follow up, and they're only working from 7 to 3 p.m. Well, you could replace that, and you could replace that person with an AI that will work 24/7, that it accurately asks those questions, accurately collects the information, and then does that entire process. So that is kind of how we've started to realize like we can figure out where people are going essentially, and then control it via the conversation. So yeah. Tim, anything you want to share, add to that?
No, not that I can think of. I think you covered everything. All the updates. That's fantastic.
Cool. Some other little things that we're working on. We're working on some white label marketing materials for you guys, which will be cool. So this is also information and resources that you could use to help close clients, because that's what we're starting to realize is like, yeah, the value offer is there, the platform is there. Now, how do you effectively package it up and sell it to a client so that it's not, quote unquote, just an AI chatbot or just one, just these things that you might typically have seen before. And for those of us that were on last week's call, this might look a little familiar, but we kind of just went a little more in depth on it. So instead of just selling the AI chatbots, we want to sell something that's a little bit more established, something that will create more of an irresistible offer. So most agencies will just do one of these things. There's, lead generation agencies, there's appointments, there's appointment setters, there's VAs to qualify and follow up with people. But if you can offer this entire system in one go to the client, where you are giving them a completely done for you system that will generate the leads, follow up with those leads, qualify those leads, and then schedule an appointment for them. And by the way, it's free setup and free installation. You don't pay until after your first lead is generated. Like, there's some power there. And not a single time did I mention that there was an AI chatbot in this messaging. I think that's where a lot of people are starting to realize is most businesses don't actually care that that there's an AI piece to this. They just want to know that they're getting these benefits, new meetings, new leads, new deals being made.
Where did you find that from us?
This isn't out yet. This is just like the one I'm working on.
Oh, okay.
So once it's out, I will share it with everyone for sure.
How do we use a bot to actually? I appreciate we generate a lead if they come to a website. Is there any way of using the bot to do before they come to the website?
There has to be a trigger of some kind for it to initiate the conversation. So the way that we've told other people is wherever that action is coming from, if you can have a system to send the initial message for the user to then respond, that response from the user is then considered the first message in the chat conversation with the AI agent.
Sure. Yeah.
So in that scenario, you can essentially have it be anywhere or be from anything. And as long as that first initial message is sent, then the AI can take over when the response is received.
I would use it. So if you were doing an Instagram message,
Uh-huh.
because I know you said just last week that you used Instagram DMs a lot.
Yeah.
Do you use the bot in the Instagram DM, or do you get to the bot after the Instagram DM?
So there's two different accounts. Like on my account, I don't use it because I'm actually talking with people manually.
Right.
On Stammer's account, it will just go through a conversation. So you can have someone message the account organically, and then the AI will take over from there. Or if there's an existing conversation, if the user sends a message, then the AI will know that that's a conversation message that it needs to respond to and then start the conversation. The key is the initial message is not coming from the AI chatbot. It has to come from somewhere else. Like the AI chatbot cannot be the one to outbound send the message.
Right. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's always in response. And so and it's like a pseudo kind of variation of that, where in most, like 99% of the use cases, there's a CRM or a system on top or behind these channels that allows you to easily send off that initial message.
Yeah. And then it could be a link in that email or Instagram link or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it could just be in the conversation if, depending on the functionality that you would want it to have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're finding that this section, this qualification part, which is essentially being able to ask questions and then extract data, allows you to kind of, you're taking an unstructured conversations and converting it into structured data.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, if you think about that for a sec, like the power of that for application is
massive.
I mean, Dan just joined us. I'm sure he can come up with some fun use cases for that, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, that's what's going on.
So yeah, I think it's definitely key to know that it's not the AI giving that first initial, it's something else, and then the AI responds and takes over from there.
Excellent. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook groups does a lot to kind of, prevent you from making that initial contact. Because, I've been using it in Facebook groups, and there's ways to kind of like engage users to take the step to chat with your bot. But yeah, I haven't found any ability to kind of like force the conversation on them either.
Yeah. And in even the stuff that I have in my Instagram, so I have some automations, but it's not conversational at all, because that's not my goal with it. My goal with my Instagram, where I'm using it, is I'm trying to get people to go from watching a video to somehow collecting their information, and they get that value in return. And most of the time I send that through Gumroad. And so with the automations that I have set up in Instagram, I'm just sending people to a Gumroad link, and that's it, like done.
Mm-hmm.
I totally lost my train of thought. Gumroad, lead gen. Shoot. Yeah. Somebody else go.
Tim, you're muted. Maybe he's on another call.
No, I was having some mute issues here. It seems like I've got multiple mutes here with this headset. Ross, you were talking about when Dan came in and you were talking about use cases
Yeah.
for initiating conversations and
Oh, yeah. So yeah, thank you. So the initial message that I'm always sending is very casual and not about trying to convert. So it's more, it's so open-ended. It's more of just like, here you go. Let me know if you need any help. Thumbs up. That is my initial message, and it's such a low barrier message that people feel like they can just respond with a great thanks or awesome, thank you so much, which then initiates the AI to ask the first question. And that's where like the lead gen process can be taken over by the AI at scale. So there's ways where you can route it where, especially if you're doing all of this through GHL, you tag people in the conversation that an AI is having with them. So that way GHL knows that that person's in an AI conversation. And then once you've extracted the data that you want to add and you've added it to the custom fields, then that tag can be removed. And then when that user sends a message back to the Instagram, back to me, I see the message and I can respond as a human because I know that I've already got there. Like the AI has done its job and qualified them, collected the lead. Now I can follow up manually as I would do normally with all of this warm information kind of ready to go.
So you're basically starting the conversation. So you basically go and kick off the conversation with a whole bunch of people, and whoever responds are the ones that get the AI automation follow up.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we set up with another agency who's using Facebook ads and lead gen ads. So this is why this funnel works so extremely well. So like this part is Facebook lead gen ads, which are super cheap and simple and easy to use because users have their information pre-filled into Facebook lead form ads. So this right here can collect the phone number, for example. And this is the exact use case that we built out for an agency a couple of days ago. They collect the phone number in the Facebook lead form ads.
Mm-hmm.
That information gets all piped into GHL naturally, organically. That action triggers a text message that goes to the user using some of the information that they implemented, that they answered in the Facebook form. That first message that is being sent is sent by GHL. So it says, hey, John, thanks for filling out a Facebook form. Are you interested in selling your home? So within like 5-10 seconds, the user has filled out the Facebook form, and then they get a text message that says, hey, thanks for filling out our form. Are you interested in selling your home? And that is now the AI conversation when they respond. So when they respond, yes, that answer has now been extracted as the first lead gen question in the form. And this is honestly an example of it. So all of these are the questions that are then asked by the AI chatbot to then get answers for. All this information is then extracted and sent back to GHL to then update the contact with all the custom fields that match all of these things. This is the trigger at which point all of this information is compiled into a text message and then sent to a salesperson. So the salesperson is then following up again with the person. And this is not in the situation where the meeting is automatically booked, by the way.
Right.
The salesperson has the name, the phone number. They have all the answers to these questions from the user, and they can go and then call or, basically follow up manually and go with a warm lead. And so that makes it so that way that salesperson's not wasting their time calling every single lead. They're only having to follow up with the leads that are qualified based off of the answers that are given and collected by the AI.
Have you made a video of all that?
Not yet. And that's what this whole thing is going to be. I made this whole thing for realtorai.bot.
Yeah.
And that's this example on the website
Oh, cool. Yeah.
as well. And the base system prompt for this is right here.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole example is probably the most powerful use case that we've had, because these real estate agents are able to just send ungodly amounts of traffic to it, and they're cheap, quote unquote, bad leads. And if we think about Facebook leads, like 40 to 50, maybe even 60% of those are going to be terrible leads. But if you can get a $2, a dollar, $2 acquisition on a Facebook lead, then have an AI chatbot rip through hundreds of those leads to find the one, and you're not having to pay a VA an hourly rate to do that, there's the delta. Like, there's your alpha. And then that's what you upcharge and upsell. So the agency that we were talking to last week, he fired 2 of his VAs, $500 a week, that were working from 7 to 3 p.m. because the AI is now is able to replace them and do a better job and never get tired. So
I love it. It works 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah. So leads could just be coming in and they're just being qualified by this bot, basically. And then the team can be notified. And then that's where, so it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's basically just that graph. You're doing all 4 of those different things to the point where it ends up to where your agency is getting a notification and the company is getting a notification. This allows you, and because it's so easy to set this part up, you could essentially offer it to where, as long as you know that they're a legitimate company that you would want to work with, you could legitimately offer a free setup, free installation, and charge a lot of money post them generating leads. Because essentially, once you get this set up for one business in a niche, you can just duplicate it for any other business in the same niche, because it'll work the exact same way. I think that's what becomes really powerful about this is once we all, collectively and individually figure out our niche and really hone down into it, it becomes just a duplication game. You get a new client, duplicate a bot, change the name, and then deploy it, and then it's done. It's generating them leads without you or them having to do anything.
Hey Ross, what was the name of that website again? Realtor what?
Oh, it's just a domain right now. It's not even a site.
Okay.
I'll put in the thing. It's just realtorai.bot. That being said, we're also working on white label landing pages, white label emails, white label sales funnels, a lot of the stuff that we can add into. And I think, Graham, you actually asked about this a while back, being able to have a snapshot in GHL for that. We also figured out how to templatize our API inside GHL with custom values. And that might be confusing, but instead, and this allows us to make a snapshot now.
Yeah.
So before, it would be like we would still have to tell you, you still have to go in and copy and paste in everything, which is kind of annoying. But now we can provide you with a snapshot, and then you'll be able to go into the custom values section in the snapshot, and you do this once. You paste in your API key, and then that gets mapped to the value, like the parentheses API key. And then you can use that custom value anywhere else inside GHL. And then that value is the API key. So the API key is hidden, quote unquote, from anybody that's just creating an automation or doing whatever. And then that will allow us to create a snapshot to where you can just go in and add in your values. And then you just have to add in, API goes here, chatbot UID goes there, UID goes there, or contact. And that's contact ID, just one that's native inside GHL. Yeah.
Can you put more than one bot on a web page to like have like a gallery?
You could do that with the inline embed element.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've done that in the past where we've showcased multiple use cases in one page. I actually took that away though. So because my thought, and I don't necessarily have data to back this up, but my assumption or my thought was it was confusing people.
Okay.
So
have you ever thought about having a marketplace within Stammer so we can share or buy
Yeah.
or sell?
Yep.
Okay.
So that's what I was mentioning a little bit earlier about the whole marketplace idea. We'll be able to basically offer all of that functionality.
I misunderstood.
No worries. This is a good piece of information I found out the other day. So question like, how do you niche down? Well, here's some ways to niche down. By price, by problem, industry, location, situation, experience, demographic. This is something I would bring into GPT and be like, hey, help me figure out what these are for X client, and then just start working with somebody on it. And then I just found out this site earlier too. So I have not even tried this out yet. I saw this on a Reddit thread earlier. Hopefully it's free. Ugh. All right. Maybe never mind. Apparently this website uses quote unquote, uses AI to help you figure out like a 20-page diagnosis of who your ideal customer is. Like I said, I haven't tried it, so I just wanted to bring it up, but I wish I didn't because I now find out that it's paid. Anywho, I feel like I'm rambling. Anybody got any questions or anything?
Just a couple small ones.
Yeah.
First of all, the convo starters.
Mhm.
Amazing that you brought it up so quickly after the whole scheduling part. A little detail that I think would be interesting. I've played around with it for a bit, and one thing, it could disappear after you choose the question, because then you start the convo, you pick the question, or if there's just one, two, you pick it, and then it's still in the conversation, and just a little, annoying that it's still there.
Yep.
Even though you're somewhere else.
Yep. That'll be in the next update. We just like everything, building blocks. So
yeah, cool. I just
yep. I'm glad you caught that, because we caught that almost immediately as well.
Yeah, and interestingly, we saw a few products where they just keep it around, but that's great feedback that you would like it to disappear, because we were thinking the same thing, that it should disappear after a little while, or after you ask it.
Yeah, right.
Well, it could be an option too, I guess. We could make it an optional thing. Like
Yeah.
just make it a checkbox. Do you want these to go away after they're clicked? That'd probably be relatively easy.
Yeah. Just if that wouldn't make the customer think that they have to go through the questions rather than they're optional. Another view to take on that.
Yeah.
Ross,
Yes, there's that.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Just one little quick one. How does it handle rescheduling appointments? Because every time I tried, it crashed on me, or it just said that it's.
That's a good question.
Because for some reason it brought it up when I was testing for my landing page, and it just told me that you can use this for scheduling and rescheduling also. So I tried it, and yeah, it lied to me. So
Tim, what
We
do
may
you
have
think?
to add some instructions.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all the bot really is doing is setting up the appointment, right? So like an appointment scheduler would do. So you could probably go into Google Calendar and simply adjust it or move it around. That being said, we may need to provide a function for the bot to reschedule appointments.
Yeah, because that's, to be honest, that's not a we didn't really test that one.
Hmm.
That's the first time I've heard of that. So in that use case, Lucas, were you basically just saying like, hey, I'd like to reschedule the other meeting?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it kind of hooked up, but then at the final stage, it was contact the help.
Okay.
Currently doing like go a level, wouldn't you? You just send them back a text to rebook it, but it kind of loses the bot aspect of it.
Yeah. Well, and it's
And-
interesting too, because I think we're finding that the value add is in the conversation in that first interaction. So
Yeah,
like,
right.
if the user would like, I think it's an edge case to where a user would come back to that chat bot and then ask to reschedule. Like, I'm trying to think, like, if I put myself in a user's shoes, that's an option for sure, but most likely I would go to my email confirmation.
Yeah.
I think a quick fix for this is, upon confirmation of meeting booked, you send a message that says, if you would like to reschedule, please reach out to support.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
If I don't get the confirmation text and the email, but it does the scheduling, is there any quick fix on my part?
The prompt
And
maybe,
is
think you
this,
could put,
probably.
yeah. So Tim, in the prompt, he could put in, after the meeting has been scheduled and the Google Meets link has been provided, tell them if they would like to reschedule, contact support,
Yeah, exactly.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is again why the marketplace is going to be such a good feature for
Thing.
everybody, is because we could just build this, or Tim or one of our guys could just build this for you, and then you could go into the marketplace and clone it, and then you now have like something to work off of rather than just the blank
Building it
canvas.
up,
Right.
Yeah.
Once you've got something to work with, you can work back with it.
Yeah.
And these prompts are, Ross and I both have gotten really good at creating these prompts, and it's really interesting because it's not like normal programming. I don't know if I've talked about this to this group before, but it's almost like programming on instinct and learning kind of how the bot responds well, which varies between bots, right? Like 3.5 versus 4, it's a different approach. 4 Turbo seems to be the same, which is great. We're not having to relearn everything. But yeah, that's why the marketplace is just going to be so essential. We can just throw it in there. Hey, we got this working. Here you go. Here's a version that's slightly different. And you'll see a lot of tools that take the approach of they're trying to build abstractions on top of the prompt. And that can work, but then you'll lose a lot of the versatility, right? That prompt, being able to edit and customize the prompt and having a library of ready to go prompts, it's a very powerful thing. And that's why we're really honing in on that versus building some kind of very complex builder that would just get super confusing.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Ross, I have a friend who's developing a piece of software which, when it's finished, will be phenomenal. But how do they approach to get your API added to it? It's basically going to have thousands of integrations.
Oh,
so
nice.
they would want to be there.
I think probably schedule a call with
Yeah.
us, and we'll figure it out from there. That's exciting though. That's cool.
You'll like it. It's very impressive. And they're big in the AI world as well.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think I'll get you a good link. I think Tim and I are also going to be starting a weekly podcast here soon.
Yes.
Oh, what's
We're
happening
excited.
Well,
Sorry?
going to do a weekly agency training thing. Is that happening after
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to be doing those Thursdays. The first one will be on the 30th. So not this Thursday, but next Thursday. Same time, 11 to 12, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. PST. And it's going to be essentially about all the other stuff about agency life. So content creation, social media marketing, cold email, blah, 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 like all that stuff. The way I'm going to try to structure it is we're going to have one main topic per each Thursday meeting. So for example, like all those things I just mentioned, like cold email is probably going to be multiple sessions, but like in the first one, we can go over like what you need to know, what the tech stack you should probably do is, maybe best practices, tips and tricks, things that I've learned over the years. I can show you how we're doing cold email. Like those are the types of things, like just get perspective on a lot of these topics that a lot of agencies have tried and failed and then given up on. So there's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good info, and it doesn't do well on social media. So I want to be able to give it to people that are actually going to use it and take advantage of it. And it also doesn't hurt that, it helps us get more customers too. So
Really looking forward to that.
You say that's going to be weekly?
That'll be weekly, and that's for paying customers only. So the Tuesday office hours will still be open to everybody, but then the Thursday ones are going to be closed for only paying customers. And then those will, essentially we're just going to do those. I don't have like any end date for that. It'll just be, I think it'll be a little bit more casual too. So like, even though these office hours meetings are becoming casual because we're having a lot of similar people show up, with our ads that we are running, that's going to change very, very quickly. So having this type of, smaller lockdown community will be, I think, transferred to these Thursday meetings, where we'll be able to go in on specific agency stuff. So like if you guys have problems or issues with your agency or how you want to build up, like we can go in on your agency, because we're not going to be uploading these to YouTube. So it'll be more just, internal, help and support and stuff like that. All the good stuff.
And that will be linked through the agency Discord?
Correct. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we have Thanksgiving in the US here this week, and then yeah, we're gonna just rip it next week. That's the whole. I got so fired up this weekend with all this OpenAI stuff. Like, Dan, are you still in Vegas?
Yeah, I'm just at a cafe right now.
Oh, okay, nice.
I leave this afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, I came in and met Russ for a couple days.
Yeah, we went out and had dinner last night. It was great.
Yeah.
Took a shop for a couple hours.
Good.
Yeah.
Got some good barbecue.
Good barbecue. Yeah.
Never had bad barbecue.
There you go.
No. As long as there's pulled pork and some good sauce, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. So we're definitely I definitely want to like keep this vibe going, because I love having all you guys join and we get to showcase all these new things, but I want to go deeper. I want to go into more of the things that actually will move the needle, optimizing your campaigns, SEO. There's so much stuff that I've learned over the last 10 plus years running an agency, and it's just like sitting there, not doing anything. So I'm like, let's get it out there. So,
Ross, I respect what you're doing. I totally love what you're doing. Every month I look at what I spend on certain softwares and programs, and although I'm not using yours, every week I say, man, I got to use this more. I got to use this more. But for what I'm paying and what I'm getting, the value is there. So that's why I'm staying with you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And your videos lately have been hilarious. You're
Oh.
getting so worked up about this OpenAI crap. I was like,
Yeah, he
"Why is-"
became a reporter, basically.
Yeah.
I was joking with him.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I literally I bought a green screen for it essentially, because like I wanted to be able to sit down and within 5 minutes get a piece of news and then film a video reaction to it and then be able to post it. So I don't have it behind me right now, but it's sick. It's just like this little thing I can pull up and it's this green screen just automatic right behind me.
It could be on the beach in Maui.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so you like put yourself in the heart of the news story.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Behind me,
it's over there.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Sam Altman is beating
Yeah,
on
right. Sam
Ryan
Almond's right
Burgo.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you for that question, Emily Chang on Bloomberg.
Right. So good.
Cool. Any last questions or anything you guys want to?
Ross, I've just got a couple of things. So the documentation thing is fantastic. I've seen that working now in my client accounts. The only thing I'd say is the tab takes you to a great window, which is all of the documentations, and you can access the different sections, but it's really difficult to get back to your dashboard screen. So maybe you need a big back button that just takes you back there.
Okay, got it. Yeah, we will add that. Good feedback. Thank you.
And the other thing as well is if you're in the agency dashboard, you have your Stammer privacy notice and your terms and conditions down in the bottom right hand corner. Is there a way to do that for us as an agency for our client chat bots and link those to our privacy and terms and condition pages on our website? Because they're just vanilla at the moment. There's nothing in there, so that would be cool if we could do that.
Let me pull it up.
So
yeah, let me just clarify. So basically, when you're in your version, you would want these to be linked to your policy and your terms.
Yeah, it doesn't matter from our agency dashboard because we're contracting with Stammer, which is fine.
Got it. So in here, you want it to show
when my client's in there white labeled, you've got nothing down the right hand side there. So if we could add that there to link to ours.
Yep.
So maybe in the master dashboard we put our URLs in, and then that maybe auto populates on all of the sub accounts.
Yeah.
That was also what I was mentioning as far as like when you're deploying this as like an agency, even like the front 3 panes, like the quick start, that documentation would be awesome to get ours or your client as well, to Tim's point. Because I noticed the terms and services as well.
Okay. Yeah. Tim, can you make an issue to add a section in agency profile?
Yep.
Or terms of service link, privacy policy. Yeah. And then let's just do homepage too. Let's add in a homepage one as well, because I think we might want to just have that for future use.
And where does that go? When you click on the logo, it would take you to that homepage.
Yeah, there you go. Actually,
okay.
Yeah. See, there you go. Yeah, perfect.
And we could also link it other places if people find.
That's what I was thinking. Like in the API and the documentation, like you could link up here, and it would bring you, like if you're in here, clicking this brings you back to the dashboard.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. That's maybe better than a back, but yeah. Okay. Got it.
Cool.
Good jump, guys. Good to see you guys.
Thanks, Dan. See ya.
Thanks,
Take care, Dan.
Another quick question, Ross. You talked about the marketing collateral, which again is fantastic. But do you have anything that
Uh-huh.
you guys have used as a pitch deck so far that we could take and then adapt for our presentations?
I have. Let me. Kind
I know
of.
you've got the Miro stuff, which I keep dipping into, but is there like a sizzle deck or
Yeah.
a slide deck we could just pull some bits and pieces from?
I don't have one at this moment. Let me see.
No worries. I just wondered if there was one available. That's all.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if I even want to show this to you, but I will. This is a variation of the one that we've had since the very beginning, but I've never used it, to be honest. So the way, like, yeah, I don't know. It's for me, it's Miro. Like my deck is Miro because it allows me to kind of, I don't know, less salesy almost. Like it's more just of a,
Maybe it's an English thing, but
it's literally on my list. Gather sales materials and create SOP. So like I'm working on it. So I'll add that in there because it's like I know that's useful. So
Yeah.
and it's just
And
it's information just in another format essentially.
I just find if we're doing an outreach, a lot of times it's nice to just say, look, here's just refer to this brochure.
right.
And we put it in a PDF or we make it an online sales deck or something like that.
So
and at least they've got something to start that conversation. We can then go in and get the meeting to do the presentation.
Yep, that was the other one. So this was like when I was running my agency. So this was like the item that I used when I was pitching people for the agency. Is I would give them this PDF document.
Yeah.
I'd say like, this is what we're gonna do. This is the deliverable. These are the 3 things. Here's all our testimonials, expectations, blah blah blah. This is what we would give people.
Yeah.
So I want to make a version of this that can be white labeled. Basically, we started a variation that looks like this, where we're basically pulling information from some of these top research places. This one is the biggest one. For every dollar, and this is a study that Microsoft was sponsored. For every dollar that companies invest in AI, they're realizing an average return of $3.50 to $8.
Wow,
it's crazy. So these are, I mean, we're working on it. We're trying to get these things to make it make sense, but also look, we're getting there.
Okay, that's cool.
So the idea here is like I would literally give you a Canva template that you could go in, duplicate, and then just you have the whole, you have full control.
Yeah, perfect.
So yeah.
Okay. And then finally, it's a query in terms of a workflow. So we're talking to a software company who are launching an ERP software platform. And there are lots of questions that they have that they don't know if people are going to ask for answers on initially, if that makes sense. So the idea would be to use a chatbot. If the answer is in the knowledge base already, we present the answer and we've ticked the box. So that would be the yes workflow. If the answer isn't in the chatbot, it creates a fresh desk or a Zendesk ticket based on that question. The answer then goes to the tech team. They answer that question, but somehow automatically that answer is pushed back into the knowledge base to educate the chatbot.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a workable flow? Could
Eventually,
that be automated,
yes.
or do we have to do that manually? We can
Eventually, yes. Yeah, we can do that.
So we've
Tim
got like
can
a
expand on this
learning cycle of knowledge based on people's actual questions that the team would answer.
Yeah.
Yep. And we are working on that. We've at least been conceptualizing it already. So we would have a function available to work because the chatbot leads the conversation essentially, right? And it's the one that kind of directs things in some ways when our code is not directing. So we would create a function so the chatbot can let us know when the answer is not known, basically. And then we send an email to someone and say, hey, your chatbot just attempted to answer a question, but it didn't know the answer. Please provide the answer. So we're working on it. Yeah, and we will,
And that
because we need it
flow,
ourselves.
that flow, when you set up Freshdesk to have tickets created when new emails are sent or received, that flow will automatically then create that ticket, which then can automate the team, because that's how we have it set up for us. Anytime a new email comes into that specific support email, then it creates a new ticket. So that would solve for that. And then on the return, that is a part of our push for opening our API. So being able to create a chatbot, create a knowledge base, or update a knowledge base all through the API. That would be that's how you bring the answer back into the knowledge base.
Cool. Very exciting. Good.
Now, all of that will be able to be automated and be done with the API and a variation of a workflow. So that realistically probably won't be done for a week or two, a couple weeks probably. Zoom Marketplace. Those are the main things up next. Yeah. Oh, multi-currency, that's coming out next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically for you guys.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We're doing Euro, British pound,
And Canadian dollars.
Canadian. Is that it?
That's it for now. But anything
Is there
that
any
Stripe
any
supports,
others?
Yen, possibly, but
Yen? Really?
we got some Japanese clients, maybe.
I think they do support that.
Yeah, I mean, we can literally support anything that Stripe supports. So if you guys if you guys want, the way that we're building it is making it easier for us to add more currencies. So Stripe does the conversion process all automatically on their end. So I don't want to butcher that. Tim, can you explain that real quick?
Yeah, so basically we have a set dollar amount, right, that we charge for the Stammer subscription. And obviously you put yours in the tool as well. And what we're going to do is at runtime, so to speak, we will call a Stripe API, get the current conversion rate, show it in the appropriate currency. And then of course, when we make the API call in the end, when your customer purchases, they handle the exact same, basically converting it. So it should be pretty simple. And we talked directly to Stripe support and they kind of, gave us the information. We didn't realize originally how easy this was to do with Stripe, but we're excited to get it out and you guys let us know how it works for you.
So on the
And if we
front
need to
end,
make any changes.
can we publish prices, or will we be able to publish prices in GBP,
Multiple.
pounds, and also euros and dollars? Or would it be we would have to choose one currency?
I need to check with our lead developer. I believe you have to choose one for our initial implementation.
That's fine.
I need to find out though. It all depends. He was going to find a question out for me about whether the currency gets set when you create the product in Stripe, because if that's the case, we're kind of locked in to making it. Basically, when you create the product, you'd have to set a currency for it. But let me follow up with him now, actually, on it, and I will get you a better answer.
Yeah, because we are also talking about it on the multiple levels. I think, Tim, you had brought this up was currency level at the agency level and then currency level or currency at a sub account level, where we have to start with it being across the board with agency. So you set your agency and theoretically, if you I try to think about this, if I'm a client and I'm paying you as the agency, if you're in Britain or the UK, I expect to be paying in that currency. I don't expect you to work in my favor to make, it's like, as a user, it feels natural that I would be paying in British pounds, not in, because you're my service provider in Britain, like.
Yeah.
Which I think is why one currency would be sufficient, because if you're a UK based company, you're going to sell in pounds. If you're an American company, you're going to sell in dollars and so forth.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. The edge case for having multiple is, I think, slim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. Good.
Sweet. Right on. I think we're good. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining. For everyone in the United States, happy Thanksgiving. And yeah. Oh, let me post the let me get you that blog. Get you a blog post. You guys can follow along with the whatever happens next. I'm sure we have news that was going on right now, but we'll see.
Weirdly, it's been very quiet.
Really?
Ross, our favorite investigative journalist.
Right?
Reporter. Yeah.
Reporter,
on it.
yeah.
I'm on it. Yeah. Oh, it's in there. Oh no, it's not. That's the wrong one. Sorry. One sec.
It is the top.
There we go. I'll post it in the Discord too. Alrighty. Thanks, everyone.
Guys,
Talk to you guys later.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Talk to you all later.
Cheers.
We're good, guys.
See ya.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.